Hey everyone, hi and welcome to the Real with Shy Power Pack series where I bring to you 50 amazing business experts. Today I have with me former Director of Nursing Secretary and the Nursing Office Manager, current doctoral student in organizational leadership, and the creator of two powerful courses and an exceptional entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Miss Patricia Michelle.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. What about you?
I'm great. Fantastic.
Perfect. All right. Well, tell us a little about you. Who is Patricia Michelle and a little bit of your backstory?
Okay, so I've been in nursing since I was like 19 years old. I started off as the secretary to the director of nursing, and then I moved up. Eventually, went and got my RN degree, and then I went back to school and got my. Well, I'm now working on my doctorate. I'm almost finished on my doctorate, as you had said, on organizational leadership. I've always been intuitive and always been extremely inquisitive. So I always have asked a lot of questions. When I was 24, I was about to get evicted from my home. I had two daughters, and I was sitting on the bed, and I had been struggling financially. So I couldn't understand like what I was doing wrong. Now, I used to love biblical stories. Any story about the Bible, I would watch it over and over again. Each time, like I had never watched it before, like the Ten Commandments, stories like that. So, in my belief system, I thought that you couldn't have wealth and be close to God too. That is the way that I interpreted the Bible. And I think a lot of people interpret it like that. You can't have both. So I was sitting on my bed and I literally heard this voice say to me, Patricia, you do not have to be poor. You could be rich and walk with God also. And then I said, well, what do you mean? And from that day to this day, well, recently, because now I think I got it all mastered now. I've been the universe, I call it my mighty I am presence. People call it God, but that's what I call it. My mighty I am presence has led and guided me from within, teaching me about wealth and teaching me other things about life. And it's also led me to like secret documents and a lot of different knowledge. And then recently, it just all came together. So one of the things I was being taught is that there is a power within you that that Jesus talked about it, saying that the Father is what Jesus called it, the Father. I don't think many churches teach about the Father because they really focus more on Jesus, but the Father, which is like the Godhead of all of us, that infinite mind is within us. And whatever you want, you can still yourself and calm yourself and state what you want, and it will give you that. Back in the 1800s and the beginning of the 1900s, there was a psychologist named Pierre Janet. He had discovered this awareness that lied inside of us. He named this awareness the subconscious mind. And then after him, Freud came along and saw this. He did research and saw that there was this same awareness. He named it the unconscious mind. And then Joseph Murray wrote a book in 1962 he went to call it the subconscious mind again. And so he wrote a book telling people how to do this, which is still relevant today and still selling well. My mighty I am presence was leading me about this. And in the beginning, I didn't know like subconscious mind, like what is that? But as the more and more God began to lead me, I came to the understanding that that was God. And it's an infinite presence inside of you. I have used it often. I mean, a lot since I first was given it. And so what happens? Do you know Susie Orman? I'm gonna give you a story about Susie Orman. She's a financial expert. She'd be on I think she had a show on CNBC. When she first started, she was on the Oprah show. So she was saying how she had created $10,000 a month as her income, and it took her a year to do it. So at that time, I was working with the subconscious mind, but I had not worked with it for income. And I thought, a year is so long. I don't know what she did, but I'm going to have this manifest before that. So because I was really good at it and working with God with this, I figured out that Susie had been working with her subconscious mind, is what she called it, for 8 hours a day. But you see, that infinite presence never sleeps. So you can work with it 24 hours a day, which makes what you're desiring come quicker. So what I did in the daytime, I repeated. Now at the time I was making about $2,500 a month, and I was really struggling financially. So I repeated in the day, all day, I will earn $10,000 a month. And then before I went to sleep at night, I just repeated that too. Within between 30 to 60 days, my income started to rise. In 60 days, I was earning $7,000 a month. And then when that 90-day hit, my income was $10,000 a month. So I continued to do it. Now, how the universe works or your mind works is that it brings it when you request something, this power, this infinite power searches your life to see what is the best way to send it to you. So then later on, I had opened the business of nursing agency, and so I did it again. This time, Infinite Mind sent it to me a whole different way. It started giving me business ideas. They were just flowing out of me. If you call me, I could give you a business idea, what to do, and it would always be successful. So I thought, wow, what is this? I didn't even really associate it with me getting the money. I just thought, well, what is this? What's happening here? So I went back to the book that Murphy had wrote, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and he stated that when you start programming for money, this power would give you business ideas. I'm thinking, oh my goodness. So you see, you don't know how it's going to give it to you. It might have you meet someone, and then through that person, a chain of events will happen. It will search your life to give it to you, whatever you're requesting, the best way. Now, Murphy's sister, in the book, he tells a story about his sister was ill. She had 3 or 4 different things wrong with her. So he wrote a letter to Infinite Mind that he read several times a day. How he read it, you just get still, connect yourself within yourself. I always like to focus on this area, your heart area. Just put your attention inside there, inside yourself, inside your heart area. And he read his request because it was quite long. He said he did this several times a day. And 2 weeks later, his sister went to the doctor, and she was totally and completely healed. So everybody has this power. You just have to use it. It's like you were given, the universe or God gave us free will. So some people will listen and they'll say, oh, I've heard about that. It doesn't work for me. If it doesn't work for you, then it's something you're doing that you're not doing it correctly. A client of mine a long time ago, because I used to do this professionally, helping people get jobs. And I also had a podcast, and that's all I did on the podcast was to give people different things, showing them how to connect with this infinite power to get jobs. And I'm going to tell you, my podcast, you have a podcast, so it's really hard to pull those numbers up. My podcast, within, I would say 90 days, I had 20,000 people on my podcast listening because it was working. People's lives were changing. And even when I stopped it, people always contact me and say, oh, you should start it again. So, but what would happen is that the first time you do it, you have to do it for 90 days, okay? So, let me go back to the $10,000. When I was earning that, so the next time, I think it was 2 years later, I went in to earn some money. I didn't have to wait 90 days. The money started coming within 48 hours. So I thought, oh, this is interesting. So because I had already did the initial work to put that in my subconscious mind, the next time I did it, it just immediately started working. So now let me tell your audience this. Whether you believe in it or not, it doesn't matter because it still works in your life. Let me give you an example. When I was raising my two girls, I would always say that when I would get my paycheck, I would say, I got paid, I was in nursing, so every 2 weeks, I would say, I don't have enough. I don't have enough for my bills. I don't have enough for gas bill. Then the next week, I don't have enough for my car note. It was always, I didn't have enough. So this power within you works on repetitiveness. I mean, whatever you're thinking habitually, like what you're always thinking, it will pick that up and then it'll create for you. So now at that time, I knew nothing about the subconscious mind. But when I look back, I could see. So anyway, I kept putting that in my mind. I didn't know I was doing it, but I was doing that. Now that I didn't have enough of this, I don't have enough of my car note. So one week, my sister was coming. I had moved to California. My sister was coming from Detroit to California. I really wanted to show her a good time. So I worked overtime for 2 weeks so that I could take her. So I worked 316. I was working in a nursing home at that time. So as a CNA, which is a caregiver. So I worked 3 16-hour shifts. And 2 days I worked an 8-hour shift. I did that for 2 weeks. So I know I'm going to have this extra money. My sister arrives. I get paid on the same day that my sister arrives. I go pick up my check. We're driving, and my engine messes up. And I have to buy a whole engine, which took my entire paycheck. So years later, when I found out about this power within, I realized that, wait a minute. Because I was thinking this all the time, repeatedly, this power just picked it up and started creating it in my life. So you are the master of this, your world, your body, your world. Your mind is extremely powerful. Scientists have found that our minds are transmitters and receivers. So when you think something all the time, even if you've never heard of this before, it still is going to produce these. If you're thinking negative things, it's going to produce the negative things. If you're thinking the positive things, it's going to produce that. So why not work with it so that you can get everything you want out of life? I'm going to pause a minute to see if you have any questions.
Actually, I'm just going to add in here. I know a lot of church people are going to challenge you on a lot of things, but a lot of your principles and guys, a lot of these things are biblical. I'm just going to give a few things here, and you can let me know what you think.
Okay.
Moses, at the time God told him to go to the land of Canaan, he took up everything and he went, and Moses was not, not Moses, why am I saying Moses? Abraham. Abraham was not a poor man. God told him, leave, go to Canaan, and look at how he did. Abraham was not poor. God does not mean for us to be poor. Cut this mindset out. The next thing that I want you guys to think about is the Bible also says, call the things that are not as if they were. Guys, if you speak it, you get it. What you speak is what you get.
Exactly.
If you speak 6 figures, 8 figures, and you speak it, it's what you're throwing out there. Words have power. We've heard this 1,000 times. Yeah. So if we know this, how can this not work? But I'm going to ask you a question as to why it may or may not work. What do you think is the most important thing in terms of it working? Is it consistency? Because I think a lot of people have tried programs like this, and this is a life coach part of me talking here.
Okay.
People try programs and they don't stick with it. So what would you say is important consistency-wise?
I think it's 2 things. Consistency is definitely one. It's a major. Because nowadays people are so impatient that if something doesn't work for you in like a week, It's like, oh, that doesn't work. Let me move on to the next thing. So we have become very impatient. So that's definitely a big one is consistency. The next one is I don't think people understand that what you focus on all day is what is going to create in your life. So again, it's working whether you work with it or not. So if you keep on your mind all day, there's never enough money, and you do this now. Obviously, you're not. How you do this is like you're adding up your money for work for your lunch. How much money you have? You're not going to have enough to buy lunch, so you got to do this. So even though you're not like thinking that you're saying there's never enough, you are because I don't have enough for lunch. My daughter wants something, whatever she wants for Christmas. We don't have enough to buy that. So your constant thoughts is there never enough. So what you keep your mind on all day is what you're going to create. And people don't know that. So they'll start doing these programs. And then like half of the day, they'll do the programs. And the other half, they'll think about what they don't have.
Right.
You can't do that. One thing I want to say too, you were saying a quote about God has said in the Bible that you have to act as if you have it. That's why you will hear people when they talk about these programs, they'll say act as if you do already have it, and it'll happen. You'll get it. Now let me tell you something. For me, that was a little difficult to do. I couldn't act. I could start off acting maybe like I was rich, but wasn't consistent because I didn't really feel it. So I did go to Infinite Mind and say, this isn't working for me because I'm not feeling it. And this is what I was given. If there's something that you could say at night, when you say it for 2 weeks, your energy shifts and you begin to feel that. So then you don't have to act like it anymore because it's already, you feel it. And then I have them do it. I have them do it for 2 weeks, and then I have them do it continuously for the 90 days. But for the 2 weeks, you have to do it and not miss a night. And then your vibration frequency will change, and you will be able to bring in what you want. Because the universe, the way our universe is made, it works on vibration frequency, and people don't realize that. If you think like negative thoughts, for instance, you're going to attract to you not only negative people, but negative situations. Negative people and negative situations. If you're having positive, you're going to attract positive people and positive situations. Now, let's say you went to God and you said, God, I want to be rich. And I'm going to talk as if I'm God. God is going to say, or if he could talk, he will say, well, Patricia is telling me out of her mouth that she wants to be rich. But her actions are showing that she wants to be poor because you're asking for richness, but your vibration is that of poor. Your vibration always wins. So then God is going to say, I'm going to go on and I'm going to give her the vibration because that's what she's vibrating at. Not what she asked for, but what she's vibrating at. So some people will pray and say, I don't know, my prayers don't get answered. Some people do get answered. But when it comes to money, you have to be vibrating at the same frequency as that you want. And that's why you don't get it, because you're vibrating at a poor man's frequency, but you're asking for wealth. The universe gives to you what you really want. And simply what that simply means is the vibration frequency that you're vibrating at. So that's why when I give out these different techniques, I always give them one. I'm going to give your audience a technique, but I'm not going to give you this one, this particular one. But this one, if you do it for, like I said, 2 weeks, it's automatically going to change your vibration frequency. And as far as religious people, like I had a friend, and he's, very religious, go to church every Sunday. And I mentioned to him a long time ago, like, we can be rich. He says, no, there's nowhere in the Bible that we can be rich. I said, what are you talking about? King Solomon was the richest man that lived. What are you talking about? They always just, no, that's not true. I'm going to have to ask my pastor. So it is a lot of people who think that money is the root of all evil and that you can't be rich, but God's will is for you to be successful. You are a child of God. Do you actually think that you're a child of God and God wants you to struggle and be poor? No. But you also have free will. So it's like God so most people might say, well, why did he put me with a poor family? Maybe there's something you need to learn. And that's why he put you on this earth in poor environments. So it's something that you haven't learned that you need to learn, but that don't mean you have to stay there. You know, God will give us lessons. You learn your lesson and then you elevate yourself. So if God put you in a poor family, it's something you need to learn, but then you need to elevate yourself and go into, be rich and bring your family into this richness as well. So I don't think maybe the ministers don't teach a lot of that, and so if it's not being taught to you, then obviously you're not going to know. Because again, when I started off telling you I was about to lose my place, I was going to church. So in my mind, I thought that we couldn't be rich, not in serve God. That's what I thought, and that's why I was struggling.
Well, my opinion on that is the church does not run on fumes. You have to have money to have a ministry. Everything costs. Nothing is free, guys. There's bills to be paid. The lights has to stay on. There's so many churches, so many people I know personally that their ministries have had to shut down because of this and that and the next. I mean, it takes money to run anything successfully, a ministry included, because in as much as you're not making a profit, you still have these expenses of the facility fees and everything else. So I don't agree with the whole God does not want you to have wealth or to be successful thing, because I mean, who is going to support the ministry? Who is going to pay for the missionaries to catch the flights and support them while they're out there? Who's going to print the stuff? So I think that, I mean, we know it's being taught in some environments, but I think this is a mindset that we have to break from. Now, speaking of mindset, how is tapping the power, or how is the power within different from your will? Because I think a lot of people could get confused with willpower. I mean, I preach willpower a lot personally. How is that different from what you're teaching here?
Well, your willpower is you willing yourself to do whatever it is you want to do. This is when I say tap, you're connecting with your God self, which is totally different. Tapping simply means connecting with your God self. You're getting this information from your God self who created the universe. So it's totally different. You are actually connecting. Let me give you an example. When I was living in California, I don't remember what bill or whatever I needed to pay, and I was just kind of really getting into this. And I did a program to win the lottery. So now the first time I won 4 numbers, and I thought, why did I just win 4 numbers? And then it came to me like, that's because that's where your mind is at. That's where your mindset is at. So if you want more, you got to raise the mindset. So I did it again. But this time I said, I want to be led and guided to winning. I didn't say what, I just said the lottery. So a couple of days before the lottery came out, it took me 3 and so let me say this, when you request something, like when you're really stealing yourself and requesting it from your presence, it takes 21 days for a new belief to get in there. So each time it took me 3.5 weeks to win the lottery. So I was sitting down in the living room, and I literally heard this voice say to me to go play those numbers. Now, the day before, I had been just diddling with some numbers, just diddling with them, and I had put it up. And I thought, what numbers? So I just sat there. It said it again. Go play those numbers. So I thought, okay, oh, it must be those numbers from yesterday. So I went and got these numbers, and I heard the voice say again, play them. So I went and played them, and for me, I was only interested in the Powerball. That was all I was interested in. So I only played in the Powerball. That Saturday, I won 5 numbers, and which is a significant amount. So it led and guided me. When you're dealing with your will, it doesn't lead and guide you, because there is a power in there that leads and guides you. Now, for me, because since I was a little girl, I always could communicate with I could always communicate with the other world. I put it like that. People who had passed on, or angelic beings. Because my mother said I used to always be trying to show her that Gabriel was here. When I was 3, she said, and I would say, "Don't you see him standing here?" And my mother got frightened, but she said she didn't see anybody. So she told me, "You're not talking to anybody. Don't even be talking to anybody," because she was afraid, like most parents are. She said, "Well, one day she came home and I was in there whispering, so she asked me who was I talking to, and she was telling me, I told you, there's nobody there, blah, blah, blah." And she said, I started crying, and I said to her, "There is somebody there. I am talking to Gabriel. And he told me," and whatever he told me. And then my mother said, and then she said, "I'm 3 now." And I said to her, "And I'm not going to stop talking. I'm going to keep talking." And I cried. And she said, "My grandmother said to her, this child is under some form of anointing. Let her be. Whoever she's talking to, let her talk." And so I found that I have a girlfriend whose son would do that when he was young. So for me, when I would hear a voice, it wasn't like out of the ordinary, because I had heard this since I was a little. But some people it might seem out of the ordinary. And I can hear the voice because I have the gift of clairaudiency. Like my husband, he's deceased now, but my husband he couldn't hear, but he would get a feeling. He called it his gut feeling. He would get it down in here. It's the same thing. He just couldn't hear the voice. It's the same thing. It is that infinite power within you, urging you to do whatever it is it's trying to lead you to do. So that power is in us, and it leads and guides us. Even if you're not working along with it, I know that your audience have had situations that maybe they were going somewhere, and then they had a feeling come over them not to go, and then they didn't go. What do you think that feeling is? That feeling is God, is your mighty I am, coming to tell you there's danger wherever you're going, and don't go there. And then you might hear about it, later, that, oh, something happens up there. So I think the problem is we don't connect with our power because we haven't been taught about it. We've been taught that there's a power out here, like, Jesus or whoever you follow, Moses or whoever it is. They're out here. But we never have been taught about the power in here. I have a friend that's a Catholic, and I asked her not long ago, Jesus always gave praise to the Father. What do you think about that? She sat and looked and said, "You're absolutely correct, but the Catholic Church don't teach about the Father." So she says, "I really don't know anything about the Father. I just know about Jesus." That is my point. We keep our attention out here. All of your power is in you. So if you really want to connect with that power of God and know for yourself, go in here. And what I mean by go in here is just sit still. Focus your attention within here. Now, after you do that for a while, you can do it for 5 or 10 minutes to start off. Just sit in the silence and focus your attention there. Eventually, when you ask a question, because you can ask questions, you could say, should I do whatever it is you want to do? I had one time dating this guy. I had just met him. We argued a lot, but we were talking about marriage and stuff. So I sat down one day. I was in Jamaica, and I sat down, and I said, "Infinite mind, If this man is for me, bring him closer to me. If he's not for me, pull him away. 48 hours later, we got into a huge argument, and the relationship was off. So you can also do that. Go within yourself, ask about whoever's in your environment. I recently I said to Infinite Mind, remove everyone from my environment that, number one, is not for my good, and number two, that is extremely negative. About a week and a half later, people started like just dropping from my life, and some of them were my family, were just dropping from my life. But when I looked, then it dawned on me, because I had forgot that, I had asked Infinite Mind for this. And so it gave me that. So you don't have to just go and ask for money. That is what my book and my course is about, money, because I know people struggle with that so much. But this is your divine God self, so you can ask for anything and that you want, or any question you have, any character you want to change. If you let's say you're a jealous-hearted person and you always criticize people, but you're having a hard time changing that. All you do is go within and ask for the quality that you want. It'll give you that quality that you want. So I just think that we have not been taught this. I know women who say that they pray for a man. This one particular, and she ended up getting a drug addict. And she really thought the guy had sent her this drug addict. I said, think about this. You think God's going to send you a drug addict? But she believed that to the core of her because she prayed and then she got it. But let me explain something to you ladies, because this is very important. My mother, before she died, my father had been deceased for a long time, and she was saying to me, every time I ask God to send me somebody, he sends me somebody. This guy she was dating, she keeps sending him back in my life who had characteristics that my mother didn't like. So I said to her, you get what you are. You understand? If you're asking the universe, give me a man who's loving and kind and gentle. If you're not like that, you're not going to get it. You're going to get exactly the characters that you have. If you have low self-esteem, you're going to get a man with low self-esteem. So when the drug addict came to her, that's just a person with low self-esteem, which is what she had. So that's what God sent her. If you want a mate that has love, be loving or kind and gentle, you have to develop those characters. Now, what I have found when you're dealing with this power within you, if you write out the characteristics that you want of a man, and then you're repeating it several times a day, like you write it like a letter, like you write it into infinite presence, you calm yourself, and then just read what you have. What's going to happen, because I've given this to many women, and what happens is that this infinite power within you gives you those characters that you're asking for in the man. And when you have developed those characters, then he's going to send you the man with those characters. Now, if you do it your way and go outside of yourself and asking God to do this, you're going to get exactly what you are. You're not going to get the man you're asking. You see, there's a big difference when you turn to God for something and if you try to do it yourself. But we haven't been taught those things. Huh?
That is very interesting. I'm learning a lot right now.
Yeah, we haven't been taught those things. In the church. There's just a lot of things we haven't been taught, and a lot of things that have been kept from us. I always think that I said when I was a little girl, I was little and I really didn't know what I was talking about, but I felt it. I said I didn't even know who they was, but I would say they just teach us what they want to teach us to keep our mind enslaved so we can't become powerful. Now I never knew what I was really talking. I mean, I felt that, but I didn't know. It was just like a couple of years ago that my God self actually, I was right that there are, elite or people who do run this planet, and they only teach you what they want you to know. They don't want you to know that you're powerful because then you will throw them out. I remember a long time ago, this book came out it was about Jesus. I don't remember the name of it. And he was saying that Jesus had an affair with Mary Magdalene. And so 2020 had went over to Egypt to investigate this. When they came back, they contacted the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church said that some of the information that she had found out in Egypt, they did not want it told to the public because that's not what they were teaching the public. Now, she got on national TV and said this. And I'm like, oh, my God, that should wake people up to show people that you're only being taught what they want you to know. But I guess nobody caught that but me. But because I'm thinking like, why would, first of all, I didn't know why she would even contact them. I guess because maybe they're the largest religions. But so my point is, we are very powerful. When I say we, mankind, we are extremely powerful. You were made in the image and likeness of God. I do not mean this physical body because that is not your real self. You are just using this body because in this on earth you have to have a body in order to move around. God is within you. God is in your spirit. Now, do you think that something can be in you and you not be powerful yourself? All of the attributes that God has, we're using them. We don't have any power. Without God, we have no power. We're using God's power. How can we possibly? Now, we know in our mind that God is all powerful. So now if we are using that same power, how can we not be powerful? We're using God's power. But people don't think about it like that. And that is in the Bible, that you were born in the image and likeness of God, and God gave you his attributes. And attributes mean his quality. You can't think by yourself. You are using the mind of God to even think. Now, think of God as this, he's powerful. So now if I'm using his mind, I got to be powerful. But I'm not being taught this. So then I don't know. So then I'm living from paycheck to paycheck. And then I don't have the right mate in my life. I'm having problems, just a lot of problems, because you have to align your thinking with that of God, which was what I mean by that is with harmony. I promise you, if you turn your world, stop complaining, stop criticizing, stop gossiping, and turn your world in divine order, which I always use as perfection, your life will change. The reason it's going the wall out of orbit is because you are not in alignment with God. I don't care if you go to church every Sunday. There's something that is not aligned in your life that is aligned with God, and that's why you have the problems you have. God is harmony, and God is peace, and everything in the universe runs in divine order. Now, if you believe that you are a part of God because you're made in the image and likeness of God, then you have to know that means I am perfection. Meaning, what I mean by that means my world is in harmony. My world is peaceful. My world is in divine order. You see what I'm saying? Because you are an extension of God, then everything is going to run in your life. And you have everything. You won't even have to ask. Sometimes I don't have to ask for stuff. Sometimes I just think it and it's there, honestly. So I think it's a lot that people have to learn. And sometimes you can't put all your faith in a book. We really do. I think people put too much faith in the Bible. You have to. I'm not saying don't be. Obviously it's a good book. You can learn a lot. I'm not saying don't read it. I'm saying don't put your life on it. Put your life with God. This is a good book to read, but put as much faith as you have in that book into God and watch your life changes. But I'm sure a lot of people would, religious people, because this is not the way you were taught. So sometimes you have to kind of raise your head out of that Bible and research things yourself. I had a client that came to me one time. This is I wanted to address this what you said, and she was saying that she didn't have any money to buy her medicine, but her pastor was upset with her because she didn't give to whatever building or something they were building, and he told her that she couldn't think about herself because she would be blessed in the next life. But her pastor is standing there with $5,000 suit on and $2,000 shoes on and a big old Mercedes out here. So my question to her was, if he is teaching that you have to wait till the next life, why is he not waiting till the next life? There is a lot of preachers who have jets and all this stuff, but yet you can't have that. If I ran a church, and I'm not a preacher, I consider myself a teacher, but if I ran a church, all of my people are going to be rich just like me. I am not going to be rich and have all these things, and my people are not rich too, because I'm going to teach them how to do that. But unfortunately, the preachers aren't learning that. They're not, they don't really know these things about getting wealth because they're actually just using the money you give to pay their salary, which is how they're getting all these things. So I think people have to think for themselves. I say, if whatever I'm saying to you, if you feel it in your spirit, then you need to go and ask God, look, is this lady speaking the truth? Or you need to ask God, is my preacher speaking the truth? You have to take action and ask God yourself. These preachers are not anointed where they're the only person who can talk to God. Everybody has that ability because that power is within everyone.
So I'm going to ask you a little bit of a controversial question because I promoted your course strongly in my lives because I do teach life coaching from my lives on Facebook and Instagram. And I sent someone, I sent someone in particular, I was like, check this out. And the question, like I said, is controversial. So does this course or this teaching have anything to do with hypnosis or Scientology?
No. No. Scientology, I'm aware of Scientology. Actually, I watched that program that comes on Tuesdays with Lee Remick talking about Scientology. I've never been a part of Scientology, and nor do I agree with the things that they're doing in that organization. So no, hypnosis has nothing to do with hypnosis at all. This is about God being within you, you stealing yourself. When I say steal yourself, you're not going into a hypnosis. You don't want to do that. This is just stealing yourself, which means quieting yourself and just
affirmations.
Talking. I'm sorry, huh?
I said affirmations.
Yeah, well, no. Okay, so when you do affirmations simply triggers that infinite power within you to bring about what you want.
Right.
It's the same thing. Now, everything so I have this course, but I'm now translating the course into a book. And so I'm just one chapter through, and I'll be through with this book. And in the book, I put like some of the book has affirmation, but some of the books have like a letter that you would to read to God. And then at the end of the book, I go into about your mighty I am self and how to bring that power within your life. This book that I am writing is the beginning of a series of books that I have that I'm going to be teaching. And actually, I actually taught some of it, like was talking about it today. I didn't want to make this book really heavy because the next book is really heavy. So I didn't want to do that. And the reason I released this one first is because when I release the next book, you're gonna have to do a lot of soul searching and thinking. So I didn't want people to worry about I got this bill to pay, while they're trying to learn. So I thought, let me put out the part where they can get the money first, so that they can have every amount of money you want. It's up to you, and then they'll be more in a learning state. When I put out the other book, they don't have to worry about a lot of their problems that maybe they're worrying about now, because everything in my book works within 90 days if you follow the instructions. And the instructions are very simple. You're either going to say read this letter, The Infinite Mind, depending upon what you want, or you're going to say affirmations at daytime and then you'll say them at night so that that mind can be working for you 24 hours. When you go into hypnosis, how can you say anything? You're in hypnosis. You can't, you know what I'm saying? So I think people just don't understand what it is. I have thought about, I am going to change the name of the book because I have the book, I think, Tap the Power Within. And maybe that's not getting like about God within. So I'm going to change the name, something about infinite light or something like that. I haven't figured it out yet. So that people could separate it from like the question you just asked. Because it's not at all on that, like that. No. No.
I think a lot of people get misled by it, but I'm glad, guys, we clarified this. So again, no, we are not pushing the agenda of Scientology or hypnosis, any of these things. We are just connecting with God in the spirit man and getting these things through affirmations.
Yeah.
What you speak, what you receive. Okay. So we're
and then in the book, I also put references to what I'm saying that is in the Bible. I have some, give a lot of references. I didn't want to put too much references on that because, not everybody, everybody has a different philosophy or religions that they follow. You know what I mean? I'm not promoting any religions whatsoever. I'm just trying to bring you back to your true self, which is an extension of God. That is what I'm trying to do. And if you have that and you connect with that God power, you don't have to have these problems you're having. You have these problems because you're creating them, because of your thinking. And then you want to get mad at God because he's not doing something for you. But God gave you the power because he allowed you to use his attributes. He gave you the free will to create. I don't think people even realize that we are creators in our world. So what you think is what you're going to create. And that's a creator, right? Yep. So it's only a matter of letting you see your power and standing in that power and having the type of life that your mighty I am wants you to have. A lot of you, even if any of you are mothers or fathers, do you want your child to suffer when your child get older? No. Why would you think God wanted you to suffer? If that's your father, do you actually think he wants you to suffer? No. So you have to kind of, when you're taught things, you have to think about them and weigh them. I have a friend that I said to her, some of the things your preachers say, maybe you should research. She says, oh, no, I believe my preacher is because he went to school for this and he could talk to God. And I said, just because he went to school, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? And you can talk to God too. She's an elderly lady. Her mind doesn't think like that. She thinks whatever the preacher say, it has to be right because he was anointed to be a preacher. That's what she feels. And I'm just saying that people have to start thinking for themselves. You have to think because the proof is always in the pudding. Jesus stated in the Bible that you will know a false preacher by the fruit that it bears. So if you're believing that your preacher is teaching you can't be wealthy, but yet he's wealthy, there's a problem there. So you have to, I don't think we think, I think we just do, just follow. You know what I mean? I think we just follow whatever leader is there, we just follow. And that's church or whoever. Not, church or the Nation of Islam. I have nothing against them, but they think of Farrakhan like he's God. I actually read a comment that somebody was saying he is God himself. So we get hung up. But you remember that incident that happened over in Guyana back in the 70s? How all those was 900 people that killed themselves? That's because they were following their leader. Even when that happened, I thought, why would they follow somebody like that? You follow nobody like that. You follow God. And they wouldn't have ended up like that. You see what I mean? So we need to turn ourselves away from out here leaders and turn ourselves inside to the one and only leader, your mighty I am. And so this is, this course, everything will help you connect. Now, I'm offering half off of the course for your readers. The book, like I said, is not completed, but it should be completed in another 2 weeks. You can keep checking the website. And then you can go on the website, and there's a free video about Tap the Power Within. You could download that free. When you download that, there is an exercise on there for your audience for you to do that exercise, and money will begin to flow to you within 90 days. So that means it could start in a month or 3 weeks, because it takes 3 weeks for the belief to come in there. And then you'll see yourself that this works and the money begins to flow. So that website for you to go to is www.globalelite.media. Not com, but media. So it's www.globalelite.media. And just download, and the free video is like clearly on the first page. I don't remember if it's at the bottom or the top, but it's clearly there. And you just download it and listen to it. And then if you want to do the course, it'll give you all the instructions if you want to do the course. If you don't want to do the course and want to wait for the book, like I said, it'll be about 2 weeks. But I would, if you in a financial situation where you don't have money coming in, I will, encourage you to download the free video, because, like I said, there is you can just download that and then do that exercise for 90 days.
All right, perfect. So, guys, just in case you forget the site, there is a link to connect to the site and learn more about Miss Michelle on my website. Just in case you forget, to reiterate, connect, get to that site, learn more, listen to the sales video. She's speaking some stuff on there, a lot of powerful stuff, and the course is free, half off for the entire course in 90 days. For the downloadable course, you should see results. So let's talk about something else that you're good at. I know we're keeping you a little long hair today, but
that's okay. That's okay.
But I know there are a few people on here who will be interested in this as well. So tell us how. I know this is your other course, but give us a little bit about how to create a nursing agency on a shoestring budget.
Okay, so I opened, because I had been in nursing since I was 19, and then I decided to open my own non-medical nursing agency. And I've created a course called that, Open a Non-Medical Home Care Agency. And you can open this at home. I don't think a lot of people know that. You can either do a home or do your office space. Now, when I started, I only had $200 at the time to invest in this business. And I took that $200 and just really built a multi-company. So a lot of people think, I want to go in business, but I don't have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of money to get into a business. Now, when I got into my business, I went and tapped the power within myself to make my business grow quicker. Because I live in the Denver area, and I would go out and I would talk to them on the phone, and they would be like, oh, yes, come and meet my family. And I would get out there, and they didn't want to get it. And you have to understand, nursing is, you're dealing with older people. So their mindset is that in the past. And if you're a person of color, they don't really want to deal with you. They want to have somebody white. So I had to actually, that's why I went and did this, tapped the power within and did that, spoke to my I am self, and then business began to just flow in. So it's a very profitable business. And at that website that I just gave you, you can also go in there for that course too. That course I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if I gave you half off for that course, but I might have given you half off. I'm not really sure, but you could check and see if it's half off. If it's not half off and you want to get that course, just email me, and the email you'll see on the website, and then I'll just give you a code to put in. If you're interested in that, then you can get half off for the course to get that course if you're interested in that. But it's basically what it is that you would send caregivers out to patients' homes to take care of them. Now, this is an extremely profitable business because, for an example, if you sent a caregiver to take care of a family 12 hours, let's say they needed 24-hour care with somebody in the day, with individual caregivers, somebody in the day and somebody at night, you're going to make, you personally, after you paid off your caregivers, you're going to make for that one patient around $7,000 a month for one patient. If you're doing a live-in and you're going to give them one caregiver would work 3 days, other one 4, and you're giving them a flat rate, you would still make quite good on that. It just depends on what the flat rate is. So it's a very, very profitable business. And I show you how to get your clients. And I also give you, I think it's like 5 or 6 companies that you can connect with. You pay them a fee and they will send you companies. And one of the they will send you patients. And one of the companies is $75. So the range is very reasonable, where you can pay $75 and they'll start referring patients to you, or you could pay thousands of dollars. It depends on your money, but they will begin to send patients to you. So you could read the course and then start getting patients. So I give you that information. All the forms that you need to start this, I give you all of the forms to start it. And, it's just a lot of information. I had this course on another marketplace, and from 1 to 5, the students rated it and gave me, for that particular course, they gave me 5 stars for the course. So it's a very detailed course. If you don't know anything about nursing, the information is there very plainly and clearly, and it'll help you do it. Know things about nursing, because I also give you assignments and some homework and some quizzes. But one of the assignments I give you is to hook up with one of the other students or your friend, and it shows you how to give an in-house consultation for the patient, because you have to go to the patient's house and sign them up. And so it tells you exactly how to do that, and then you can practice how to do it with your friend. So again, it's a non-medical home care agency. Non-medical simply means you're not going to have any RNs, and you're not going to have physical therapy or OT, occupational therapy. You're strictly going to use caregivers. And it shows you that you can either use a nurse's aide, certified nurse's aide, which they're certified by the state, or just maybe a PCP, which is a personal care provider. Maybe she's just been working in this field, but she has 5 years experience. Mm-hmm. What is it? Companion, where, it's just companionship. And most of these cases are really easy. Some of these people are lonely and they just need, like a companion there with them. But it's extremely profitable. So again, you can get more information on the website. It's like halfway through this website, you'll see that. After you listen to the free information, and you can see that is on there about the course. And then if you decide to purchase the course, again, contact me, and then I will give you half off of the course. Yeah, and this is still the same website, www.globalelite.media.
Wow, there you have it, guys. That sounds amazing. I'm like, man, maybe I need to get in. I'm like, wait, what? $7,000 for one time.
Yeah, it is very, very profitable. Very profitable.
I mean, guys, it doesn't get any better than this. This is a simple step-by-step. She's giving you everything that you need. If you feel like this is something that you can do, you want to create generational wealth, you want to make some changes, come on, guys. You're getting the power to get it done. You're getting a strategy. Mm-hmm. What more do you want? And even if you decide that One or the other is not for you guys. You have two amazing courses here. So I say
Yeah.
run with it. One or the other has to be for you.
Has to work for you. That's right. That's right.
Or for
I don't,
some people, it might be both.
yeah, some people, when you're a millionaire, you don't have just one income stream. People that are millionaires have several. So if you're not a millionaire yet, but you're looking to become that or become more financially secure, you need to have more than one income. So if you just have your job, that's good, but you need to think of another side business that you could go into so you can get a money flow or an investment or something. And I don't think when you're middle class or poor people think like that because you're so much trying to struggle off the one you think, oh, I can't even afford to open up something else, but you can. You don't realize it because you haven't been taught that, but you can open up another business that can be another stream of income than the one you're having, the one you got, and then eventually you could quit working, and then you'll have that, the one. Because I opened up mine, and then I did everything myself in my own business for a while, and then like now I have somebody else running it. Because then you'll grow and grow, and then you'll have someone running it. I have one in Denver here, and I have one in Arizona as well. And I had recently opened one in Detroit. So you could do it. Don't ever say you can't do it because you don't have enough money. You just don't know how to do it. And so in the course, I did explain in some of the videos how I started off of like this shoestring because some of the things I couldn't sign up for, I couldn't get. So how am I going to do this? So I only got enough office supplies that I actually needed. And then I had to go out to do the referrals myself, which is the consultations where you go to the patient's house. Then I went and ran advertising. And then I found out where I live in the Jewish community, nobody even thought to advertise with them. Nobody. I was so surprised in their paper. It was only like or at the time it was $12 to run a classified ad. There was nobody in there but me. So I got a patient, and they really watch you in that particular community. So you have to like advertise for a while, but I advertised for a month in there, and that was my first patient. You have to I just took the risk. I'm thinking $12 a week, I can afford that. So I did that and then got the patient. And nobody had ever advertised. So I thought of that, to advertise in the Jewish newspaper. So there is things you could do. And then, like I said, I always keep connected with my I am self so that it could lead me. Because I probably would have never thought about the Jewish paper if I had not have been connected with my I am self who led me to the Jewish paper. You see what I'm saying? So it all worked out for me. But if nursing is not for you, then you have to think of something you can do because you can't sit on the couch and have these wishes that you want to be rich and you don't take action because you'll be on that couch again next year and the next year and the next year. You have to take some type of action. Either, you can look at my business and see if that's what you want to do or look at somebody else's business, but you need to do something in order to change your life because change comes when you take action. And if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. God is not going to come to your door and just throw the money from the sky. That is not going to happen. So you have to get up off the couch and take action. And you know what? A lot of people are fearful too. Do you know I realize that a lot of people are fearful of changes. They might say they're not, but I'm telling you, in that subconscious mind, there's fear for that person because it's different. They're so used to like going to one job, coming home, or living in this poverty until it's fear. Unconsciously though, fear that that maybe they're going to fail. People have fear of failure, and people really have fear of succeeding. That was actually one of my fears. I thought that if I succeeded, my friends would become jealous of me, and I wouldn't have the same friends. I really did think that. So I had to, work with Infinite Mind to move that, and I realized, look, I can't stay with my friends want to stay. I want to move on. I got to go. You know what I'm saying? So you have fears, but those fears can easily be removed. Just connect with your I am self to remove the fears, the conscious fears and the unconscious fears that you have. Because again, you might not know that you even have them. So you have to ask Infinite Mind to remove the fears and the unconscious fears. And that's the one that you would read in a form like a letter. You would write a letter like the Infinite Mind stating about your fears. And in the letter, make sure you put more positive things than negative. In other words, I know that Infinite Mind controls my body. I know that Infinite Mind is the creator of all things. So I know that Infinite Mind can move my fears, something like that. You don't want to just go into the letter and say, God, I have so many fears. I'm fearful of this. Just all negative. You don't want to do that. Just the positive, give the blessing to God, and then ask him to remove your conscious fears and your unconscious fears of whatever's around the wealth or whatever you want to say. And then you also would ask for the fears and what is another, to give you the confidence that you need to move forward. Some people don't have confidence to open their own business. They want their own business, but they don't have confidence. You know, people will go to work every day and you'll complain about the boss, the people, and all that. But you won't go out and work for yourself to get your own. Get your own. My uncle was in the real estate, and he used to tell me, you'll never get rich working for somebody else. And I believed that. When I was young, I really believed that. So I would work and I always have a business on side. When I was 21, I had a travel agency. So you have to have the courage to go out there and take action so that you can move forward. And so, again, you would connect with your infinite mind. And let me just say this last thing. This infinite mind created this entire universe. The entire universe. Do you think it can't help you with your little bitty problem? It can help you with your little bitty problem. Because these problems, the infinite mind is like little bitty. When he created this entire universe. So take it back. Go back to the source of all things, which is God. To help you, in other words, to do whatever it is you want to do. And you know, some people, I have a friend that'll always tell me all day long how she has faith in God. She trusts God. But yet, when something comes up in her life, like they wanted her to have knee surgery, she was so fearful and stuff. And I said, well, wait a minute. I don't get that. Because you just told me you have all this faith in God. Why didn't you go to God and ask him, should you have it done? She never thought about that. So see, you say you have faith in God. You say you believe in God. But your life shows differently. Your life shows you don't. A lot of women, we have controlling natures. I do to myself because we were left to, maybe a lot of us was left to raise our children. So you have to be a mother and a father. And so you become very controlling because you have a mother and a father. I mean, you know, you have to be the mother and father. And if your husband wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? And so we wanna do it ourselves. We want to go to Infinite Mind and say, Infinite Mind, I want maybe $10,000. And then you go figuring out how you can get the $10,000. That's not your job. Your job is to simply request it from Infinite Mind. Remove it from your thoughts and allow Infinite Mind to take over, to show you where to get it. There's an old saying that they used to say in church, when you take your problems to God, leave it at the altar. Don't bring it with you. And that's a lot of people's problem too, because you'll pray for things. Oh, God, please help me with my son. Then you'll leave the altar and say, now, what can I do to help my son? You see what I'm saying? You just prayed for God to do it. So why don't you sit back and release it and let God do it? And so when we want to move forward and be controlling and do it ourselves, it doesn't work. And that's another reason why it doesn't work. You've got to let it go. You've got to trust that mighty power within you that is able to take care of your little bitty problem because it created this whole universe. Let it go. So I'll even tell you that, when you're doing especially when you're doing with affirmations, you have to keep doing them. when you're reading these letters to Infinite Mind, no, you have to, when you get through reading that letter of your request of what you want, you gotta let it go. Now, you can put everything in one letter that you want changed about your life. You don't have to do it one thing at a time. But know this, that it might take a little longer than 90 days for all of it to manifest if you got a long list of paper. You need to do that at least 7 times a day, reading that paper to Infinite Mind, because you got a lot. If you got a half a paper, you need to do it at least 5 times a day. If you got just a couple of lines, you can do those 3 times. I always say 4 times a day. When I wanted to win that money in the lottery, I repeated whatever the request was to Infinite Mind 4 times a day. You have to put a lot of power in it, meaning passion. So, or love. Love is excellent. If you can visualize something and put love around it, I guarantee you'll get it within 1 week. But at the time I was young when I started, I couldn't muster the love, so I would do my body like this, just because it's emotion. I would pull this emotion up and then read whatever it is I wanted Infinite Mind to get. From a car to money to a house, I always got it within 1 week. So you have to, and I do tell you that, in the course, that there's certain things you have to do. But you also have to trust that you trust that power enough that it's going, when you request something, it's going to come, and you not do it. I've seen so many people do that.
So just for clarification purposes, because I just know someone is going to ask this. So when we're talking about the course, we're not talking about the free video that we can download. We're talking about the entire course, right?
The entire course. The entire course. Yeah, in the free video, I go on to explain more about this power within you, about the subconscious mind, all of that. And then at the end, there's that free part for you to get money within the 90 days. That's only the free course. But in the video, in the course, it's more detailed. So the course has something like 18 or 19 videos. And so and then some tests, like I said, and assignments. So you go deeper with that. And then the course for the nursing agency, I think that has like 24 videos. So actually, I could talk more. But the one you're going to download is like more of an introduction.
So my question to you, these results, because I want to make sure this is clear, because I just know someone's going to DM me on this. These results that we're talking about, we're going to see some results using the 90-day technique. However, the 1 week results are after you do the entire course, right? Or is it?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about the results. Okay. Let me clarify that. When you do the extra, whatever I give you, when you do it, if you put enough love or emotion around it, it will might always manifest in 1 week. Let me give you an example. So I would always get my cars this way. I would always get my cars in 1 week. So one day I said, I'm not going to put any emotion around this. And I'm going to see how long it takes me to get my car, a new car. I didn't put any emotion. I just said it like blasé. Infinite Mind, please give me a car. No feeling, nothing. It took me 6 months to get that car. So I realized that it's the emotion that makes it come quicker. That is what I realized. Okay, now that's one thing, and that has nothing to do with the course. That's just a fact. If you're visualizing something that you want, the more power. Now, when I say that you on the course, and I give you this, and I say it's going to happen within 90 days, I'm not saying it's going to take you a whole 90 days, because I don't know how long it's going to take Infinite Mind to, search your life to give you what you want. It takes 21 days for your Infinite Mind to get what it is you're saying, or to put that as true. It begins working for you the moment you say it. You might start changing right in that 3 weeks. And then maybe your mind. I started changing. I think in the 3 weeks, and then in the month, my money started coming. I thought, oh, this is the one I did with Susie Ullman, the 10,000. In 30 days, the money started coming. 60 days, it came more. I was making 7,000. So you see what I'm saying? It depends. It might come early and it might not. Now I gave this girlfriend of mine an affirmation. Actually, it's the same affirmation that's in this free video that I gave. Now, it's not okay. So I gave her that. I had personally never did that particular one. So the other day I said I'm going to do it. So I did it, and in 3 weeks my energy shift. I could feel energy, so I know when it shifts. My energy shift, and I started feeling like not wealth but opulence. I started feeling opulence, like, oh my God, I just feel like I felt like I was a billionaire. I literally felt, I just told somebody the other day, I literally feel like I'm a billionaire. Like I could just anything. And then it dawned on me, oh, it's because I did that exercise. So now that feeling came around me within 3 weeks. You got to have your energy has to shift before you get what you want. You see what I'm saying? So your energy will shift after 2 weeks of doing that. The free. This is in the free video. 2 weeks after you're doing the night exercise, you're going to follow that instruction. Your energy will shift to wealth in 2 weeks. If you can feel energy, you will feel it. It will shift in 2 weeks. Now, after the 2 weeks, I don't know how long it'll take for Infinite Mind to give it to you. I don't know if you'll start getting the business ideas or it'll send someone to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So you could start manifesting as early as the 2 weeks. But you know what I'm saying? I can't say that. What I can say is I know from experience, from giving so many people this, that before that 90 days is up, you will have received what you want. Now, if you're asking for like a lot of wealth, you'll see it'll start flowing within the 90 days, but then it'll still be working for you after the 90 days. So then you're going to keep the whatever I gave you up after the 90 days if you don't have everything you're asking for. You see what I'm saying? But you will see it within 90 days. I say 90 days because I don't know each and every individual's life. It could take a week for you. It could take 2 weeks. But it's like, I don't know you. So I have to say 90 days because I know for a fact it'll take that long. There is a lady, she's a person of color in California. Her name was Cynthia Stanford, I think. She won the lottery for $112 million doing a technique that I also give you in the course. And she did it for 90 days, for 33 months. She did it for 90 days. And then right after that, she won the lottery for $112 million. Now, for this particular thing, the way she did it is that you don't just ask to win the lottery. You have to put a specific amount that you want. And then when that jackpot, she did the Mega Million. So when the pot reaches that amount, then you go play. So then you're not wasting your money playing. We have two powerful attributes that God gave us that I tell you in the course. There are the most powerful attributes, which is God's quality that we have. That, when she won the lottery, was based on those two attributes. She put them together and it manifested, and she won $112 million. And you can actually Google her because she's all over Google. She's given a lot of interviews about that. Now, when she won, this is a little while ago, but she won $112 million. But like, again, she didn't say, God, give me the lottery. I want to win the lottery. Specifically said $112 million. When they asked her why did she say that, she said it was an odd number. So she just used $112 million. So when you're dealing with those two most attributes, if you're doing it in lottery or something like that, you have to pick out the amount you want to win because it's different techniques. You see what I'm saying? So, but that's in the course. When I get the next series of the book out, I'll contact you to come back on the show, and then I'll be releasing at that point what those two attributes are. I don't want to give them out now because you have to get the course. But for the next book, I'll be telling you because I'm telling you more about how to connect with your God self. Like I've seen one of the attributes, people talk about them, but not really much because I don't think they understand it. But it is so powerful. So when you use it, light, I kid you not, light will begin to flow from your brain. Light. And you'll see this light. And what happens is the light comes out and goes into whatever it is you're trying to manifest to bring it about quickly. And let me tell you, I had did this before and I never saw that. But when I connected with my God self and I was told to repeat it, because light will come out, and I did it, and I'm sensitive. I got to see, you know what I mean? So I said, my head started feeling like cool. And I thought, what is that wind? And I thought, oh my God, that's light. I was so surprised. Now, when my cousin did it, because I gave it to her, she said she can't see, but she said she could feel energy coming from her brain coming outside her head. It is that powerful. And God gave it to us to use. But they don't teach all that. You see, I have a lot of information that I'm gonna be releasing in the next book. Again, this book I want to keep it light. You know what I mean? In this course in the book, but I do release it in the course. It is in there, like what those attributes are. It is.
All right. Well, we are looking forward to hearing from you again, and when your book is released. But if there was one thing, one powerful thing, one nugget that you could give our audience to take them through 2019, what would that be? Just one powerful thing.
I would say it would be what you keep your mind on. The most of the day is what you will manifest in your life. So if you're involved in a lot of drama, that's going to keep manifesting. If you're like poor and you keep in lack on your mind, that's going to manifest. If you keep wealth on your mind, that'll manifest. That is the most powerful thing. What you focus on all day is what you're creating, setting up in your life for your immediate future.
I agree. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. What you keep your mind on, this is what will manifest. Let's get our thoughts in check. Miss Michelle says she's working on some material. We will be hearing again from her. She will be back on our show. This has been an amazing interview. I know I have information overload. I have to check out this course myself. I've learned so much today. I have so much to process and to think about.
Yeah.
Guys, she will be back. We will love to have you back. And we are going to learn even more. You're most welcome. All right, guys. Again, please check out the website. Listen to the playback if you need the website, or connect to my website. It's there. All right. Thank you again, Ms.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. I was looking forward to this. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.